This video is sponsored by this month's craft.
One thing you need to know about me, if you aren't already fully aware, is that I struggle to sit still. Today I have the day off and I was planning to go to the beach, lie in the sun, read my book, have a lovely day of doing not very much and being not very productive. And just as I was about to head out, the sky opened, rain. So that has dashed those sorts of plans. So instead of being not productive today, I'm going to try and be a little bit productive. We also know that that also starts with a coffee. So let's make a coffee. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to get done today. Well, I'm going to tell you about the things I hope to get done today. I don't know if they're actually going to happen, but we can at least make a start.
Coffee time!
I'm very excited because I think that soon I'm going to buy a new coffee machine. I've had this one for 12 years and it was already secondhand when I bought it. So I'm looking forward to an upgrade.
I'm not sure you can hear me super well because of the rain, but I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago I got some wood from my friend Pete's recycled timber shop. I got this LVL and I got him to cut it into 3 different pieces so I could make some shelves for my balcony garden at our old place. At this balcony we don't have as much room, it also doesn't get as much light, so it's harder to grow some stuff. And we have an issue with the other balcony that we have where our clothesline is. It's got this metal flashing piece that when it rains, as you can hear probably in the background, the drip drops hit it and it is really loud, so sometimes at night it's very hard to sleep when you're in the room that's right next to that. So first thing that I did is I tried and I failed to use some pot plants to mitigate that sound. Thought that it would be fine to hit the soil. The issue is that that balcony doesn't get heaps of light, so anything I put out there struggled to grow, and the pots that I bought are also those ones where it catches the water. Didn't turn out very well. Since I don't need to be using these as shelves anymore, I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to make a little wooden ledge to go on that flashing piece to, dampen that sound a little bit more with those raindrops.
The first step to preparing this bit of wood was to sand it down and make it ready to have some sort of sealant put on it, but the sander itself, the little part that attaches the sandpaper, had come away, so I had to stick that down. So that's already the first hurdle.
Well, it seems that we've already suffered a setback to today's plan in terms of needing to wait for that glue to dry on the sander before we can actually sand the thing. And I think that that's a good segue into the other thing that I want to do today, which is get started on a project. As I said, I have this issue where I just simply cannot sit still, and so sometimes when I am in the middle of a sewing project and I don't want to keep sewing because it's late at night or something, I like to have something else to keep my hands busy. Last year I attempted to try some embroidery. My mum gave me this little kit for Christmas the year before and she taught me some basic skills, and then I bit off way more than I could chew and I tried to embroider a chrysanthemum. Let me show you how far I got. I used my own little template that I traced from some fabric, and then this is how far I got. That has taken me probably about 5 or 6 months. So what I realized is that I need some assistance, and that's exactly when this month's craft reached out to me and they sent me this little kit, which is an embroidery kit. So let's open it up. Maybe I'll do a proper unboxing.
I love trying out new craft skills and adding these sorts of things to my repertoire. I tried out embroidery last year, but I needed some more guidance, which is when this month's craft reached out to work together. They offer the perfect subscription box for people who like to get creative with craft or other sort of DIY projects. Each month they send a box with everything that you need to complete a craft project or a DIY project, so rather than only learning a skill, you end up with something actually practical and useful at the end. The kit that I picked for this collaboration was a little coin purse, and I feel like it's going to be something that I'm going to be using in my life from now on. There are two box choices, the creative or the DIY box. The creative box being artistic or sort of craft skills, while the DIY box has things like woodworking or even sauce making. I'm really glad this kit contained everything I needed because I don't have that many supplies when it comes to embroidery. Also, the detailed instructions were really helpful, and this kind of kit would be fine for a beginning or someone more advanced just looking to try a new skill. For this kit in particular, the instructions included how to finish the project by hand, so you wouldn't need to rely on having a sewing machine or those sorts of skills. I also think it's the perfect thing to travel with. If you had a flight or something and you wanted to do something crafty but small, it's something that you could take with you. As I said, I really struggled to sit still, so I did some embroidery while I was at the pub waiting for my husband, and then also another day at work while I was on my lunch break. It's easy to start, pause, or cancel the subscription at any time, but the high value of materials and instructions in each kit is totally worth it for the $33.97 per month. They ship quickly and they have 24/7 customer support for any questions that come up along the way. I loved making this little purse, and it said it would be coin purse size, so I thought it would be a lot smaller, but I'm glad that it's not too small because now I can use it to carry around my smaller embroidery projects or my crochet projects or something like that. And when I'm working with my hands, I always feel so relaxed working on something crafty, and so I'm really glad I have more experience now with embroidery so I can work on something without having to get the whole sewing machine out. So if you're looking to try out some new hobbies or expand your skills and you're not sure how to get started, then go and check out this month's craft by clicking the link below, and you can click that link and get 20% off your first box by using the code Steph20. A big thank you again to this month's craft for sponsoring this video. I had a great time making this little purse. Now we're going to go back to the timber ledge. So with the little pad glued back on, it was time to finally get to sanding. Once I'd sanded the whole thing, I brushed off all the little bits of dust and I got out this sort of clear sealer stuff that I bought from IKEA a little while ago. And I got my paintbrush, a little bit damp paintbrush, that's always handy when you are painting anything, the trick my mum taught me. And I just whacked a whole coat on this lovely plank of wood, and then I obviously had to wait for it to dry. I made sure that I got the ends of the timber really well because the end grain is really thirsty when it comes to seal and paint and anything like that. So that's a little tip for you if you are painting or sealing something. I ended up doing 2 coats of this sort of seal stuff on the plank of wood just to make sure that it was extra sort of water resistant. And while I was waiting for the coats to dry, I had my little embroidery kit to keep me company. So I'm very glad that I had that because it was something to do while I waited for this stuff to dry. And now here's past Steph to tell you more about how I'm going to finish off with these brackets.
I bought these brackets so that when it's on the ledge, there's no risk of the plank like falling off and down onto my neighbour's balcony below. And so I was thinking that I might get some door stops and then either put them probably so that it's angling back in towards our balcony rather than spilling over the edge, and also just so that that edge will be nice and flat and you won't see the sort of innards. This is just our actual doorstop that we use. I haven't bought any new ones yet, but that's my idea. I'm thinking that I could drill all the way through the doorstop into the plank, and then that would secure it enough and also give it an angle.
Even better than a wooden doorstop, we went to Bunnings the other night and found these tiny little rubber door wedges, which is just really the perfect project. I decided I didn't want to use timber ones in case of like the water and getting wet and rotting and stuff. So the idea is that I'm going to put one of these tiny little wedges and then just fix with screws back down into the bit of wood, and hey presto, you've got a lovely angled ledge that's going to shed water neatly and tidily and hopefully stop all the raindrops from keeping me awake when it's raining real hard. I had 3 brackets, so I decided to obviously put one in the middle and one on either end. And so to find the middle of a plank, find the middle of anything kind of rectangular, the hottest tip I can give you is to draw diagonal lines from corner to corner, and what do you know, you found the middle of your rectangle, whether it's a bit of timber or something else. I think I learned this somewhere on the internet and it's just a game changer. It's amazing. Then I got my little set square doodad thingy to make sure I was drawing really straight lines. Very handy little piece of equipment. And I measured 200 mil from the end of the plank, which is 20 centimeters for all the non-architects out there. And that just turned out to be like a really cute little number. Don't know why I'm calling it cute, but it just seemed like kind of the right location. Then to make sure I was doing everything properly, I measured and I tested to see how to put these brackets on. Got my little white rubber wedge and shoved it in there, and then I marked out the holes for where I was going to drill some pilot holes and then put the screws in. And I got those markings and measurements and I transferred them down to the other locations from where I'm going to put these brackets. I'm using some galvanized timber screws that we had lying around in our house. Can't remember why. Galvanizing is also great for weather resistance and to make sure that the screws don't corrode. So here I am just kind of lining everything up and making sure that I'm actually going to get enough purchase of the screw into the timber. Then to hold everything in place while I'm working, I got a little bit of masking tape just to hold the bracket down while I'm drilling the pilot holes and then also putting in the screws. This is the side view of the thing, just to demonstrate how the angle is working as I'm screwing in the bits. And then of course I'm repeating the process for the other two brackets, making sure I'm measuring everything. I don't know why I take such care when I'm doing this sort of project and not a sewing project. Who knows, maybe I can take this mentality into the next sewing project that I dream up rather than just throwing caution to the wind and not doing any testing or drafting or whatever.
Ta-da! Looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna go try it, see if it works in the balcony. I'll actually show you the space where it's gonna go because it's a bit gross out there and I'm a little bit embarrassed to show it on the internet.
So glary. I think that's really cool. Well, hello from me and my new little ledge. The only oversight is that there is a slight little gap at the back, but it's pretty unlikely that rain is going to fall directly down and hit just this like tiny little centimetre of flashing that's on the other side. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm so glad that I followed through on my little side quest with making this ledge, and I really appreciate This Month's Craft for sending me an activity to do while I waited for the different parts of this to come together, because that was really nice. I don't like being idle. I like to always have something to do with my hands. And yeah, great little kit. I loved it, really enjoyed it. And I do have another one of these shelves that I'm gonna put on the other end of this so that I can get rid of these pots and stop looking at these sad plants that can't grow out here. So that's that.